Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning. Welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. This podcast, I just want to remind everybody that it sits in YouTube at the Reinvented Life Network. Hello, Your Health is Calling. My name is Sue Kostyk. I am an integrative health practitioner. What does that mean? It means that we go for the root cause of what's going on. You know, your body has symptoms, and that's just your body telling you that there's something going on. It's not messing up, it's not skipping. It is just literally a message to you that there is something going on. And in integrative health, we use functional lab testing to really dig deep into your symptoms and why these things are happening. And then we come up with natural protocols to rebalance your body so that you're not having those symptoms anymore. And it's without pharmaceuticals, it is all natural protocols, and it's a process. So we have been on a journey going through stress and how stress tends to ramp up during the holidays. And what can we do? You know, how can we manage ourselves? You know, we are in November. We are ramping up into the holiday season. But one of the things I wanted to address today, it's kind of the elephant in the room. There's a lot of people anxious about what happened yesterday with the election. 50% of the country's happy, 50% of the country is very angry and anxious. So I wanted to talk today about how our emotions will fuel our stress level. And we all know that stress is not good. You know, we need a little bit of stress to get that cortisol going that keeps us alive, but not the kind of stress that impacts our immune system. And today's podcast is going to be all about that. And, I'm kind of veer a little bit off of my normal talks about nutrition and everything else, but I really want to focus on emotions and how these emotions will really feed into our stress levels. And I do believe that the top emotions that a lot of people are feeling right now are anger, resentment, disappointment, anxiety, sadness. Um, you know, don't not feel them. That's not the way to go. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel that way, but what I am going to really hone in on today is what happens when we sit there too long? What happens when, we just feel that emotion and either don't want to get out of it, we want to sit there and be upset. And this actually doesn't just apply to this week and the election and everything. This really applies to our life. And I did a podcast on the 9 toxic emotions, and you can go back and look at those again on YouTube at the Reinvented Life Network. All of them are titled, so you can kind of go back and check those out. But, when we sit in our emotions, it's really tricky because you want to feel the emotion. They're there for a reason. But, joy and happiness does not exist without anger and sadness. It's the yin and the yang. It's like, how many times are you just on a super high, you're having a great day, and then the next day something happens and you're just at the bottom of the barrel again. So you can't really have one without the other. But what I want to leave with you today is what happens to our body when we sit there too long. And last week, I talked about stress. I talked about something that's called the cortisol steal. And we have cortisol because we need to be able to get into that fight or flight quickly. But we also need to get out of that fight or flight so that our body isn't only creating that cortisol. It keeps us alive from an evolutionary perspective. We needed that to survive.
Hello? Your health is calling. Feeling bloated, low on energy, dealing with hormone imbalances? Integrative health coach Sue Kostyk is here to assist you. Reach out to Sue for practical health solutions guided by her professional training as a holistic coach. Sue specializes in identifying the underlying causes of health issues and restoring balance. Don't let your health concerns impact your well-being. Contact Sue Kostyk today at 917-362-5176 or via email at sue@symmetryhealthandwellness.com and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you.
You've been watching Hello, Your Health is Calling. Join me as we dive into the realms of longevity, nutrition, stress management, and toxin removal, all without the use of harsh pharmaceuticals. And now, back to the show.
Okay, so I had a little teeny glitch. Thanks for going to the commercial. I'm going to talk now about how our stress weakens our immune system. And we talked about the cortisol steal and how our bodies will rob Peter to pay Paul. And, we start to shut down different things in our normal relationship with our stress. And so our bodies are going to start shutting down our hormone production. It's going to start shutting down our ability to produce the immune cells. And so sitting in those emotions, we want to make sure that we are getting out of them. And there are other things that are happening that we can definitely work on. So I said before, you want to feel those emotions. You want to go ahead and sit in there for a little while. Acknowledge it, accept that, you're having that emotion. There is not one emotion that is wrong. And you just want to recognize what you're feeling and not be judgmental. People who tend to be really happy all the time, they have a hard time giving themselves grace when they feel emotions of resentment or anger, things like that. So feel that without judgment, feel it fully. Sit there and understand why you are feeling that way. Allow it to be to be present, but don't get to the point where you're uncomfortable about it, because that's when you start judging yourself, and you don't want to do that. We want no judgment when we are feeling our emotions. Maybe detach yourself from the story that you're giving yourself. And what I mean by that is, when a situation arises that makes you really, really angry, it's often tied with specific emotions and thoughts and reasons why. We all hold deeply rooted beliefs and reasons for, how we operate on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes when things happen that we don't expect or that don't align with our reasons or our beliefs or our deeply held feelings about something, that just kind of triggers your body to automatically go into that fight or flight, whether you know it or not. On the night before last, my husband said to me, Why are you so anxious about this election? And I honestly did not feel like I was. I really honestly told him I am not anxious. He's like, no, I can tell you are because, we've been married over 20 years. He knows my habits. So even if you don't think that something is causing a little bit of anxiety, if you stop with that emotion and think about it, it's easier to redirect yourself. So detach from the story. Get your focus back on the things that you can control, because there's so much that is out of our control right now. And let's put aside the election. Let's start talking about the holidays, because we're all going to start, ramping up into the holidays, and we're going to start feeling those emotions as well. So detaching ourselves from that emotion and really getting behind the things that you can control about what's going on, that is just going to help you recenter yourself. Practicing, maybe another outlet for that emotion. If you are extremely stressed out, though, please do not go do a HIIT class or, run for an hour. But just, exercise, moving kind of helps get that emotion out. Some people like to visualize, and I think it can be a very effective tool. If you, kind of visualize yourself letting go of that emotion, that is going to be super helpful. Get yourself quieted. I'm kind of going off on different tangents, and I apologize, but I have a very short period of time to get my message across today. And, when you can quiet yourself and get yourself out of that sympathetic nervous system. There was one podcast I did where I told you the differences of your sympathetic versus your parasympathetic nervous system. It's kind of the yin and the yang, the dark dog, the white dog, those kind of things. So the sympathetic nervous system is what gives you that fight or flight. The parasympathetic is your rest and relax. So if you can get yourself into a quieter space so you can lower that, that's going to shut off that cortisol response that when we sit in too long is affecting, your gut health, your behavior, your cellular aging, everything. So, quieting yourself, going out for a walk, moving, that's going to help as well. If you start to focus on the present, I think a lot of people get really wrapped up in the what ifs. And, if you can focus on number one, the things you control, number two, the present, what's happening right now, then I think that that's going to help you not sit in the emotional stress that's going to start affecting your health. And, we've talked about how chronic stress leads to inflammation, increased inflammation. It damages your immune system. It causes, more of those killer cells versus the healing cells. There's a lot of things that are going to impact your overall health when you sit in your emotions for too long. And when you can pause and truly understand how your emotions are making you feel, and just be specific about your mindset. Mindset is it's a lot of it has a lot of power over you. And so, while I said sit in your emotions and feel them, there's going to be a time that you're going to need to change your mindset about the way you're feeling about things. And, our mind is an extremely powerful tool. If we sit in gloom and doom, if we sit in anxiety, your mind is going to start believing it. It's very scientific. We have this system in our brain that it's constantly filtering through information. And what you believe the strongest, it's going to keep finding those things that go along with what you're believing, and it's going to keep finding those, and it's going to keep bringing them to the surface. That's why your mindset is so important when you're trying to manage your emotions, because you want to flip the script. You definitely want to make sure that you are starting to maybe find some positives in the things that you can control. You know, this week is, going to be very hard for some people. And then we're going into the holidays, and then there's going to be more stress. And so, you know, figuring out how to overcome these emotions now are going to really help you in the weeks and months to come, because you're, like I said, that brain is going to keep finding those things that either are going to be positive or negative. Whatever is overflowing, whatever is more predominant, you're going to keep going back to those. So figure out those emotions, sit in them for a little while, then flip the script and have more of a success mindset. Start to look forward to the holidays. The holidays are a great time to get together with friends and family. We do put a lot more stress on ourselves than we need to. But if you can focus on more of a positive part of the holidays, and, we all tend to get sick during this time because we're stressing ourselves out and we're running ourselves ragged trying to, make the meals, buy the presents, make all these holidays wonderful for people. So if you are sitting in a lot of stress right now, one of the things that I really want to urge you about is to be gentle with yourself and supplement yourself. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Self-care is wonderful, but I think it's been overused, especially in certain generations. But honestly, being gentle with yourself during the holiday season is a super big immune booster. When we are kind to ourselves and give our bodies what it needs, it's going to thank you. And giving yourself a lot of added stress during the holiday season it's going to plummet your immune system. So, the whole thing about emotions and stress and getting into the holidays, sometimes, family gatherings are extremely stressful for people. And you know it's one of those things that I think that if a boundary is created and if you set yourself up for success, then the outcome is going to be a lot different. I talked a couple of podcasts before about how our immune system is impacted by our diet, and how, we're going through the holidays. We started with Halloween with the sugar overload for us and our kids. And, that all in all is going to reduce your immune system as well. So, not only the emotional stress of everything, but also, the stress that we're putting on our bodies with, maybe we're, eating things that give us comfort. Sometimes we self-medicate with food. You talk about comfort foods and stuff, but be mindful of what that impact is going to have long term, because you want to stay strong through the holiday season. You want to, be able to enjoy all the things that it brings. And so, paying attention to the foods you eat, the alcohol that you're drinking, stressing out about family members that are coming over for Thanksgiving or Christmas or the Hanukkah season, just remember that the amount of stress that you're putting on your body is going to come out. And, I say this all the time, but and you're going to start having symptoms that are going to start showing up, probably not today or tomorrow or even in a month. But after the holidays and you're finally winding down and you start to get the flu and you start to get colds and things, so that's when, the long-term effects of all this stress is going to come in. So, you know, the behavioral effects of stress are also, with mismanaged emotions, it's going to affect different parts of your life. It's going to affect your sleep. Your decreased activity is going to, affect your sleep and your waistline and eating unhealthy. So when you're managing your emotions, try to be mindful about how you're taking care of yourself. Be gentle, allow yourself to feel all the emotions that you want, but again, don't sit in them. If your emotions are becoming more and more intense, it's less easier to release them. So sitting in them for a little while is okay, but you don't want to hang on to them. And you want to make sure that you're doing the things that are going to impact your health in a positive way, because there's so many things that we can't control around us right now. There are things that we can control, and doing the things that we can control now are going to help you, definitely getting you through these next couple of months. So, just to kind of review everything, it is okay to acknowledge and accept your emotions. Allow yourself to feel them fully. Practice mindfulness. Observe your emotions without getting caught up in them. Detach from the story behind your emotion. They're often tied to specific thoughts, memories. We want to make sure that we detach from those. Practice self-compassion. Be gentle with yourself when you are feeling really, really strong emotions. There's a reason for it. Use a physical outlet. Get out there and walk. Get out in nature. Breathe in some fresh air. Get some sunlight. Don't curl up in a corner and think that the world is ending. Just think about letting things go, especially the uncontrollable things, because I think that's where we get stuck, is in those things that we can't control and we want to. And so, visualize letting go of those. Focus on the present. There's so many things to be grateful for. When you practice gratitude and you're in the present, then you can't help but change your emotion, because each and every one of us has things that we can be grateful for. It doesn't matter, what's happening in your life. There's always something that you can be grateful for. Trust your process, trust yourself. It's a process of letting go. It's, it takes time. And I know that there's some people that don't feel comfortable in um, anger or resentment or disappointment, and then they feel bad about feeling those things. But it's okay. It's really okay to feel those things, but not staying in them, as we mentioned. So, during this time, I know this podcast has been a little disjointed, but I'm hoping that the message that you get is, number one, you have emotions for a reason. Two, it's okay to feel them. It's okay to feel every single one of your emotions. Three, emotions are going to fuel your stress. You can't be emotional and not, have that impact your stress level. And it's the way your body works. It's survival mode. So it's going to be releasing that cortisol. It's going to be stealing from your other functions because you're staying in that. So, number four, just try to get an outlet. Try to, whether it's talking to friends, a pastor, a therapist, a life coach, whatever, talking to people sometimes helps get that out. Now, what you don't want to do is talk to someone who's sharing in those same emotions, because all you're going to be doing is keep the fuel going, if you will. So talk to someone who can be your voice of reason. We all have those people in our lives. And just remember that we are embarking on an extremely stressful season. And there's things that we can do to help. We can be watching our diet, we can be moving, we can be reducing the toxins around us. And all these things are going to help us to manage the stress going through the season. And again, if you need any of these podcasts, you can email support at helloyourhealthiscalling.com. You can go to my website, symmetryhealthandwellness.com. Any questions, happy to answer anything, happy to guide you. If you feel like your stress level is taking over and you're starting to feel symptoms around that, we have some functional lab tests that are going to actually test your stress level. And then we'll come up with some protocols to help supplement you through that. We're never going to be stress free. It's going to be impossible. So, managing it, supplementing yourself through the stress and those emotions are really going to be what's going to set you up for success through this holiday season. I'm looking forward to this month because it's going to be my opportunity to help you, maybe with some healthy swaps for your holiday meals and some tips and tricks that I have up my sleeve. So keep watching. I will be back again next week. And remember, your health is not a hobby. You're either going to invest in your health now or you're going to invest in your sickness later. So, investing now is going to be the best thing that you can do for yourself. And if your health is calling, answer it. Don't wait. Symptoms are there for a reason. So, thanks for hanging in there with me today. I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health.